teacher could have performed in great orchestras in Prague, or grown a beard, fiddled for a bluegrass band. At the end of each lesson, the teacher borrows my father's instrument, and then his fingers bend into the rhythms of remembered concertos, his chin rigid. You forget that each string must be trapped against the hardwood enamel until it vibrates in exact frequency, that each is stretched to perfect tension, close to snapping. You forget the sound is bounced around inside the wooden body until it escapes through two tiny holes, that most of the music dies in the box. The lesson ends. My father places his violin in its case, walks down Block D of Grafton Correctional Institution. In my town, there are more prisoners than there are children, and the prisoners are the only black men around. My father is a prison chaplain. After violin, he takes out his New Testament, begins to teach the Bible in the ancient Greek it was written in to a room full of inmates. And two of his students have already become pastors with their own churches. How amazing for them to understand faith at all in a country where 1 in 4 young black men go to prison and 2 of every 3 released inmates come back, and whose prison sentences will never be read by prospective employers as "you found God." My father's violin teacher was put away for drugs when he was the same age I am. Now, his violin calluses have faded into the silence of a country callous to his sons. Its felonies will never be read, as you were a boy, between musical genius and worthless, with 100 discordant sonatas resonating inside you. I do not know what it is to wake in a musicless box, behind bars without notes, pray with my feet in permanent adagio, and what do you pray for when you cannot shift tempo or love or play your own violin? God does not live in prison. Cannot be found easy after my father places his belongings in a box, walks down a hallway only of doors opening to other doors. If you have ever been inside a prison, you stop thinking of it as a fantasy place anyone might escape from. My father's violin teacher lays on his cot, holds his hands with an imaginary violin between them. He thinks of Vivaldi and Greek and the sun. Someone bangs on the wall. Someone across the hall screams. Despite the constant humming of security lights, the prison at night is never orchestra. It is death in a box. My father's violin teacher holds his hands in the 5th position. He may never get out. He has no violin. He may never get out. What is Greek to him? He may never get out. But he holds his hands like this is music here.